Welcome back to Jack of All Games Tabletop. I'm Dave Wallace, and first off, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you and your family are having a great meal today and hanging out, maybe playing some board games. That is, of course, if you're from America. If you're watching this from some other country, well, just have a great day. Today we are doing a miniature painting video. It's been a while since I did one. And I got inspired last week when I did a video for 5 games, which we were talking dungeon crawlers, and I mentioned the game Oathsworn, which has miniatures that are heroes that are modular. And I thought, you know what, this could be a great opportunity. So this is, let me find, there's a bear there. This is Ursus the Warbear. One of the coolest reasons to buy this game is just the look of this thing. That's kind of what lured me into Oathsworn. So yeah, that's Ursus. Now Ursus, this is painted. This is completed. Of course, they all come in gray plastic, but they also come with many parts. All the heroes are modular as far as their weapons go. So I could swap out the arms there and use this axe or this hammer here. There's also these swinging chains, some little axes, hand axes. A lot of cool stuff here. Of course, hand hammers, even some Wolverine claws there. Yeah. So yeah, you can swap these out at different points in the game. So I thought that this might be an interesting painting video, just because basically what you're doing is batch painting. Batch painting is basically when you take a lot of the same thing, you just go through one color at a time. So like, say you've got a board game that has 10 goblins that are all just the same miniature, but you just need to have 10 of them. So you would go through and do all the dark green on all of them first, then you do the mid-tone green on all of them, and lights, and going through all the different colors that way. And that way everything has a consistency and it feels kind of unified. So you need to do that when you do a modular piece like this, because they got the little claws, and all the armor is still pretty much the same on the forearms there of different pieces, bits of fur and leather and stuff like that. So you want to try and do everything in one color at a time. I'm gonna put this video on for you to check out of how I did Ursus here. I will say some shots I was busy painting and not really focusing on what the camera was doing, so there's a few blurry shots, but you get the basic idea. So yeah, just for those of you who like to see paint jobs. Also want to point out one other thing that I always try to make sure I let you know about on this. Whenever I do painting for miniatures, it's almost always for tabletop ready. I do, I've done some stuff that's more for display. I've got a ton of minis actually that are just painted for fun. But whenever I'm painting a game piece that I'm going to put on the table and play, this is going to get handled a lot. So I'm not doing a lot of object source lighting and non-metallic metals, that kind of stuff. I'm just doing something that wants to look really cool, but at the same time, I know it's going to get handled a lot and moved around the table. So I'm not going to kill myself. So, I think it might have been a couple hours for all this stuff. So anyway, check this out.
Okay, so there's the card art that comes for Ursus the Warbear, and here are all the different parts, weapons, and of course the main figure. I made sure I took everything off except for the bear to the base. I just decided to leave that on, but it does come off. Usually I do airbrush for my primer, but this time I actually just did a rattle can, so looks good. You see the gray on the posts there. That's to make sure things will still connect. And here I am trying to piece them together, just making sure all the pieces still fit. It is pretty snug, so you don't want to get too much paint on those posts. In fact, other than primer, I made an effort not to, but you can see how all the different pieces work here, and yeah, everything looks good and snug. So time to go. So I'm really happy that Monument Hobbies finally put out a medium silver, more of a steel look. They've always had the dark silver and the bright silver, and I always needed something in the middle. And this amp color, they finally put some of this out. So I'm starting with this because I am going to dry brush. You see with this rather large brush, and I don't want to make a mess of all the color by slopping it on there later. So yeah, doing this first, and you can see I'm just kind of dabbing it over stuff. I'm not making a mess, I'm not hitting everything, but yeah, if it goes over a little bit, no big deal. We'll be able to fit the paint in there, but yeah, just kind of lightly brushing it on. It's probably a little bit thick on my brush, but I'm okay with that. There's going to be a lot added to this, some purple reflection to match the colors in the picture, and also I'm going to be doing a wash with oils to make this thing kind of gritty looking, all the armor. And yeah, when you're doing this kind of batch painting, of course, like I said, I'm doing one color at a time, going over all of the pieces and making sure things match. So once I got that done, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the weapons. Most of these weapons I want it to match the armor. I just feel like that would be Ursa's vibe. She would probably have all this same sort of steel that this stuff is all made of. So yeah, everything's going to be pretty much, except for some of the weapons do have like some wood handles and stuff like that, but for the most part I'm going through all these pieces and hitting some silver. You can see it all in the background there, because throughout this video you'll notice that I have some real issue with the camera being in focus, or I guess the main piece being in focus. Sorry about that. So this is the only speed paint I'm using in here. I'm going to use this purple with some medium and thin it down. I want a little bit of that vibe of that purple. Now, she's not purple, and this is actually steel, but it's sort of like to match the card art, where everything's going to have this, maybe some reflection, and we'll put maybe some purples into the base as well, in order to give everything like a reason why that purple reflection shows up in both the armor and in the fur. So you'll see I thinned this stuff down quite a bit, and right now I'm mostly just putting it towards the lower parts. I'm figuring that these purple tones are reflecting from the ground up. It's pretty thin, and it'll make enough of a difference, but it's not gonna be like purple armor. It's just gonna, the silver is definitely gonna show through. The steel look is gonna show through the most. But again, this is kind of helping bring everything together, making everything cohesive. Yeah, so mostly hitting those undersides, and of course I'm gonna do this with all of the weapons as well. You see I'm going like whatever's facing downward is definitely what's getting some of the purple on it, which is why you see me here holding up the weapon to the bear. Make sure that my angle is going to be kind of the same, to make sure that it, what areas, rather than coating everything with this little bit of purple wash I'm basically doing, that it all looks like it's kind of coming from below. That's pretty much the only speed paint I'm going to use in this. Yeah, mostly going to just stick with solid acrylics. So I'm going to start with the bear's fur with neutral gray and bright neutral gray, and then a little bit of this purple. I'm going to be putting white at the very end, because it's a polar bear, but you can see again I'm going by this card art. Don't have to, but I just decided to kind of bring a little bit of that purple into it. So yeah, I'm just going to add a dot of that to my grays, which of course is off camera, so you can't really see me doing it, of course. But yeah, just a dot of that gray, of that purple, into these grays, and I'm going to start by layering the the medium gray first. You'll see this a lot throughout my video because I'm focusing on the painting and not on the video. Everything in this is in focus except for my main piece. There you can see it a little bit better now. So yeah, this is just that medium gray. Now you'll see spots like this where it's maybe a little bit too purple. So what I'll do here is I'm going to wipe off. I'm not going to rinse the brush, but I'm going to wipe it off a little bit there, and then yeah, see, wipe it off, and then I'm just dipping it straight into the medium gray and going over top of that while it's still wet. So basically wet blending it, so that way the gray is a little bit stronger and kind of dilutes that purple a bit. And of course, got to go through all the pieces, make sure everything looks the same. So I'm finding bits of, you know, fur, the hands, as well as bits of the arms that do show through. All of these separate pieces have a lot of armor, and there's some leather straps and stuff like that. So usually try to work, with the exception of that steel that I did, I try to work from the inside out. So the lowest parts, and then layering over top of it with the lighter. You can see I'm not hitting that post. Don't need any more paint on that post, but you know, we do want to get as close to it as possible. So now we're just doing a lighter tone again, all blurry. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is just a lighter tone, that more of that bright neutral gray with a dash of the purple still in it. When I do the whites at the end, I'm not going to put any purple in it. So, you know, this will all just kind of layer together. That purple, just give enough of that same vibe there. But yeah, it's starting to come along. You see when I'm doing this fur here too, I'm just kind of dabbing it. It's not really strokes. It's more of a, I may make a directional movement, but these are just little dabs to get this paint to layer. And there you can see I'm kind of bringing it out of the chest a little bit, and just little touches. You can always add more, but you know, you go on too thick and you're screwed. So here it goes onto the chest area, where you can see even though I'm dabbing it, I'm making those dabs in the same direction as any fur that I see. These models are pretty detailed. So yeah, I'm going in the same direction when I dab it. It's not really a big stroke though. It's really just more, it'll look more like natural fur if you just kind of making these little dabs, because fur can tend to, you know, go in different directions. But you can see here that this lighter tone, I'm conscious of areas that are, you know, top and which ones are bottom, where the shadows and stuff go. So yeah. So this is when I'm going to do the base. That dark purple, dark warm gray, and then this red gray. These are all Pro Acryl, Monument Hobbies, my favorite brand. That red gray is just going to be some of those raised parts in the base. It's got this cool slimy texture base to it. So I'm mixing the dark purple and the dark gray as my sort of base coat. And again, that kind of brings everything together, because it will, you know, give the illusion of some of that steel reflecting all this purple base. And of course, way down at the bottom of the screen, sorry about that. Guess I gotta think these things through a little bit more. So there I didn't rinse the brush. I just jumped into my red gray, and I'm lightly scraping all the little pieces that rise up. just giving some accents so that it's not just a boring flat base. Okay, time to paint some leathers. Warm brown and caramel brown. This is mostly going to be the warm brown, especially with all the light colors. I want it to be that leather tone to stand out. When I get to, and sorry again that I'm way down at the bottom of the screen here. Hopefully I move that here in a minute. But when I do the highlights to it, I will just mix it up and kind of dab it into place. Again, that's what most of this is just dabbing. Again, with these miniatures are beautifully made, a lot of detail to them, and may not be able to see it so much right this minute, but all the little leather straps and everything on here have a lot of detail, a lot of little cracks and stuff. It just make everything look really cool, and the paint kind of sinks into those right away, so it'll make a big difference when I'm adding that lighter tone to it. And yeah, again, like somehow I managed to get everything in focus except Ursus. Not sure why that is. They call it a smartphone. These arm sockets here, I am getting the paint just inside the rim there. If you don't go inside these pieces where they snap together just a little bit, eventually you're going to end up seeing the creases there. You can actually see it. Whoa, focus. Wow, amazing. But yeah, so now I'm going to mix. You can actually see me mixing these paints together on the wet palette, and just kind of trying a little bit of a little bit of light, a little bit of dark till I find a tone I'm happy with. I don't want it to be too bright, but yeah, just enough to accent. And any raised pieces, I'm kind of hitting that. There's also some little cracks and stuff in the leather where I want it to be, maybe a little streak right next to that to kind of see raised edges. And worn leather. There you can see it a little better. So you can see all the little cuts and creases in that leather. Looks really cool. So yeah, just hitting again my high points. Parts that are underneath don't really need to focus on too much. But yeah, any of my raised pieces here, and yeah, trying to get some of those little cuts in the leather as well. And then of course, yeah, I got to go through all pieces because all the arms have leather, whether it be around the bicep there, little straps, or underneath the armor holding pieces on the inside. So yeah, just again staying consistent. Really sorry about this one. My blues it's all blurry. So what I can tell you is that I kept it simple. It was 3 blue tones. There was a dark blue, blue, and sky blue for the last highlights, and it definitely makes it pop. You gotta have something that kind of stands out. I'm really annoyed looking at this blurry thing, but there you can see it. You can see everything real, and that's with the sky blue highlights and everything on it. And also you can see on the weapons there's a lot of wraps, areas where on the handles where the hands are able to grip. And so yeah, of course, like everything's going through all the same bits. So wow, everything's looking cool. It's time now that's all pretty. Let's mess it all up with a oil wash. These are oil paints, just from Michael's, and this is some mineral spirits to thin it all down. And I'm gonna mix it into this and just make a soup and slop it all over these weapons, all the armor, leather as well. And this oil wash, I'm just gonna, as I slop it on there, I am being conscious of things like I don't want to get it on the fur. and not too much on the blue, the cloth or the wraps. But you know, if it gets a little bit, I'm not too worried about that. But basically, this is going to make all of the armor, leather and wood look kind of grimy and used. It's going to get into all those little cracks and crevices, and then I'm going to let it sit there for an hour or two, and then I will wipe it all off. Looks like I got a lot of the main pieces, and now I'm getting her. You can see I'm getting the leather shoulder pieces, all that stuff. Even all that pretty, you know, layers of paint that I did on the leather, I'm coating that stuff. Most of it's going to come off, but those deep creases, it's definitely going to darken them and give them life. So yeah, this is just a little makeup sponge. Just start wiping away. Most of it will come off, but yeah, again, the creases are where you want that. It's gonna give it a little bit more of a used look. I don't want my heroes to be too polished. You know, polished heroes haven't seen battle. So I do this with all kinds of miniatures, even like BattleTech, you know, any D&D, most sci-fi, not always, depending on, you know, if it really does any favors. So yeah, after I've done all of that, I'm going through with a bright silver and a smaller brush to just kind of dry brush the top sides. That purple is not like super prominent at this point, but it's still there. It still makes a difference, especially on the lower sides. And now I'm doing this silver, so hitting the top sides of everything will, you know, basically give a little bit more of a sense of direction of light. So yeah, it's looking pretty sharp. And it's the first time I think you can actually see everything in focus. Amazing. Okay, so you can't see that, it's blurry, but that is the best white in the business. It is titanium white, bold titanium white by Pro-Acryl Monument Hobbies. And first thing I'm doing is this tiny little small brush where I'm just kind of nicking those fangs, and it will go right on there. And you know, even with this tiny little image here, as long as it's in focus, you can actually, from here, you can see that white. This white is amazing. First time I ever tried it, got it from a hobby store, and the guy said this stuff will change your life, and he was right. And most people who are, you know, pro miniature painters or really into the hobby know about Monument Hobbies bold titanium white. So yeah, again, not sure if that's really focused there, but I'm just using a really small brush and kind of just making little tiny strokes in the direction that the fur would be going. Sometimes, like the nose there, I'm just kind of tapping it a little bit. But yeah, we're not full coverage. You want some of those tones, especially with fur. You want layers to show up. So I'm trying to hit mostly raised spots and, you know, give a little bit of a stroke so that way you can see some of those, you know, the medium gray and the lighter gray and stuff underneath. And that's really going to make your fur just kind of come to life. So yeah, of course, went through all the other pieces. What the hell am I doing here? Ah, yes, of course. So after I've gone through everything, I am going to, now the eyes on Ursus in the picture are just a solid white, but I am doing this as almost like an eyeliner kind of look around the eyes to make it pop up. But also Ursus has these like face tattoos, just these markings that kind of look tribalish, and so I'm using this micron to get in and make some of these little symbols on the face. I love using this for you know, the pupils on eyes. Yeah, and there you go. There is the finished product. And of course, I'm gonna show you a couple different. I'm gonna show you all the different weapons and stuff here. But yeah, hammers and axes and all kinds of stuff. And you can see all the different, you can see the layers of fur there. They turned out really cool. But again, it's totally functional as a tabletop ready miniature. I put enough effort to make it cool. You can even see there the wraps on the axe head there. But at the same time, I'm not too worried about it, being handled a lot. So yeah, turned out pretty cool. I'm happy with it. Hope you dig it.
So yeah, there you go. That was the process for painting Ursus. I really dig this one. I think it's actually a she, turned out really great. I do find it amusing that looks like in the photo there's some breasts on there. I don't know if really polar bears breasts would stand out that much, but they put them on here to, I guess, make it sure you knew it was a female, even though they're not here. It looks pretty dude-ish. But not that matters. Anyway, she's super cool. Really enjoy playing with her in the game too. And now I'm gonna. These things are definitely a pain in the butt to swap out once you get a little paint on them. So you got to be careful doing that. But yeah, really cool stuff. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Until I come up with another video, get out there and roll some dice.
Hey gamers, thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate all the support. It's one of the things I know that I can count on with the gaming community at large. This is of course to the point where I gotta ask you to like it, hit that subscribe button, and maybe share this with a friend. If you are a game designer, or maybe starting your own gaming company, and you want to do a little bit of cross promotion, maybe you got a prototype that you want me to check out and talk about on the show, definitely let me know. And of course, for all questions, suggestions, and corrections, there's all kinds of ways to get a hold of me. Probably the easiest one is just comment below. You can also send me an email at jackofallgamestt@gmail.com. The T stands for tabletop. And if you'd like to take a look at my commissioned miniature paint jobs, or even some of the other stuff in my life like photography or tattooing, which is what I do for my day job, go check it out on Instagram at Art of Wallace. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.